Thinking about the strength, grace, precision, and power of a Master Judoka in motion, wondering how you can apply its artistic attributes to your Hall of Fame journey? Pause, think about it with intentional thought, and consider where we go from here. Stay tuned and hear what Cynthia Rahming got to say about how the art of judo transformed her body, mind, and soul, turning passion into achievement.
Something to think about with Dale Happy Knowles. What we think, we become. What we radiate, we attract. What we imagine, we surely can achieve. Let's change the narrative 242.
Welcome to Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles. We're here this evening having a great time with the rain, dropping out the sky, cleansing the earth, so that we know we can have great blessings this evening. And on the screen you can see that we have the Honorable Cynthia Rahming. And I don't know why our names aren't shown on the screen right now, but we'll get to that soon. But welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you?
Hello, everybody. I'm good. How are you doing, Happy?
I'm great. Awesome. So we joined and welcome you to Something to Think with Dale Happy Knowles, and we have our co-sponsors, DomDev Enterprises and Page Investments, that we encourage you all out there to ask your questions as we go forward so that you can get able to achieve these supernatural traits that we can put on the table today. They're so super that they're easily available to you. Just have to listen, learn, and apply. Awesome. Madam Bahamas in all colors and everything. I got on my little orange. I believe I might be wrong, but I believe today's supposed to be some special day. I can't remember exactly which one of the groups that orange is supposed to be representing, but I always have my cancer shirt in the background since I represent them all the time. But it'll click with me sooner or later, because you know Murphy gets in the way when he wants to get in the way. But we're going to be talking a little bit about unlocking the Master Judoka. Am I saying that right? Potential in each of us.
Yeah, Judoka.
Judoka or doka. Okay, like Sudoku kind of thing. Almost halfway, a little bit. Not really. Yeah. Cool. Yes. So we have to ask you this question, right? Because we know that we talk about the art of judo. But we have to ask you, is Judoka? Right. Then there's some special things to see. If you can't say it, you know it's special. But anyway, is that a work of art or a catalyst for art?
You mean for paintings or what do you?
For you. Was it a work of art or was it a catalyst for art?
Well, it is a martial art and it's body formation. Of course, I did the sport version of it, but it does have its own versions of katas, which is like the formation of set moves that you use, and when applied to real life situations, they can be self-defense. So I think it's an art form. They have competitions as well for just the formation of the katas, but I just did the sport. But I know some. In the back of my head, I know some.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. So, folks, if you can hear us good out there, put a thumbs up. Let us know what's happening. Let us know where you're from, where you're listening from, where you're tuning from. How was your day? Tell us something about yourself so we could make sure that we're covering what you want us to cover also as we move forward. And so, I want to ask also to you, does Judoka.
You'll get it. Judoka.
I get it? Judoka. Okay, Judoka. Does that mean some sort of ninja, mind reading, jumping off the ceiling, throwing people up and down? What does that mean?
So, no, we don't read minds. We'll work on that. We'll add that. We so some people are familiar with different martial arts. Some generations know some more than others. So judo is where you throw people, you pin them, you choke them, or you armbar them. And that's basically how you win the competition. One of the three, one of the four, and or you win, of course. But it's a little different in some martial arts. It is very heavily based on not only the physical aspects of the sport, but also your character. So there's 8 values in judo as well. Do I know all of them by head? No. It deals with like courtesy, honor, self-discipline.
Yeah, I used to know them one time ago myself. When I was playing with trying to put on a white belt. So I don't profess to be anything like what you have attained. That's just mind-boggling when I look at some of the things that I've read and so forth. And so we're going to talk about that journey to get to that point and how it's going to benefit you and the listeners and so forth. Right? So obviously everything tends to start with a dream. Right? So tell us a little bit, a fast track about who Cynthia Rahming is and how that dream was born.
Well, actually, I feel like I inherited the dream when it comes to judo. My father was always interested in martial arts. When he went into university, that's where his martial arts he got into more the self-defense aspect of it. He did and when he came back home, I was 2 years old, and he started his own martial arts club in the Bahamas. And from essentially birth to about to my retirement, I did martial arts. I did have a brief 1.5 year gap where I went off to university to do the visual arts, so the painting, sculpting that I do now. And then I steered back into martial arts full time, the more my professional career from there. Yeah. So the dream started much earlier than
Okay, I missed that part. You said dream started much earlier than
me.
you. Oh yes, yeah. And I know some of the mindset behind the person that you speak of who had the original dream. That. Yeah.
It is his passion. Martial arts is his passion. And so he passed it on to many people as he taught, but of course his children. So my brother, my sister, and I. Yeah.
So when we talk about success now, pedigree surely is a blessed ingredient, body, mind, and soul. And you just touched on, excuse me, how a lot of that is passed on to you. So you clearly have that pedigree of mind and soul, but have you highlighted a Master Judoka?
Judo.
Harness Judo? You may say, okay, Judo. Harness the strength, the grace, and the precision and power.
So I think what I found along my, because of course I was going for the Olympics with a very high standard. And competed in World Championships, Commonwealth Games, Youth Olympic Games. I competed Grand Prix, Grand Slams, Open, regional competitions that are equivalent to Carifta, CFC Games. I competed a bit. So my view is that although my goal was somewhere else, even
Okay.
if practitioner, these values are so ingrained within the sport and within learning that you do alter your viewpoint of how you carry yourself, how you respond and interact with others. And it is a holistic type of sport. So you can sharpen your iron in a way when it comes to yourself as a person.
Cool. So it molds you in a lot of ways, basically what I'm hearing you to say.
Definitely. Judo is a physical sport. It's not for when you do anything at a high level, it takes a lot from you. But specifically judo, you're throwing yourself on the ground, you're being thrown on the ground. People are physically trying to manipulate your body as you do the sport. So you have to toughen not only your body, you have to toughen your willpower and you have to toughen your mindset. So it's inevitable that you have to do the sport.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So were you gifted as an athletic talent, or did you have to optimize the trio of body, mind, and soul to be able to compete at such a high level?
I think I was athletic. Okay, was I an athletic child? Naturally, I think I was able to adapt, but I wouldn't say that I was great at basketball, great at this, great at that. I always felt that I was good at learning skills. And so when it came to judo, I had to continue to learn, constantly learn. And I think for all martial arts, that's like the ideal person because the sport is always adapting. The rules change, like the official rules change quite a bit all the time. Although the nature of it is the same, you have to adapt to your opponent because the one-on-one styling might be different. So I think I was just adaptable, and I always knew that I needed to learn and adapt. So that's what made me successful in the end, is because I didn't stick to kind of one way. I wasn't very hard-headed on like, oh, I must do it. And maybe to detriment as well, because if I specialized in like one thing, if I got it, I would have won all the way. But if I didn't, so it depends, I think. But just very much, I knew that I always had to work in order to achieve.
Yeah.
That's principle for life. I always had to work to achieve.
Yeah, that was similar to my experience with baseball. That I wasn't the most athletic, nor was I the biggest. I was one of the smallest. So that kind of you have to work on all these other things. So the Magic of Thinking book, big book, teaches that success is 98. I use the words 98%, but they don't overloaded amount of attitude compared to the mechanics, right? And so we have to ask them, what is your experience with the power of attitude in becoming successful at whatever it is that you do, particularly in the sports, competitive sports?
Well, applied to anything, right? There has to be a base level standard. If I don't know, I was a automotive builder, so I built cars. The standard for a seatbelt is a certain grade of material. If I
Okay.
use rubber, that's going to go against standard, and of course the person will always get hurt, as an example. So within anything there is a standard already. Within sports and within judo, the standard, you have to be able to physically move certain amounts of weight in order to succeed, to have the base level to start to succeed. So once those standards are met, once you're able to lift adequately, your body is capable of moving certain ways and do certain throws, then the mentality is really what makes somebody a consistent winner.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about, for sport, I feel it's your mentality in that moment. Before you step on the mat, you could feel unconfident, you could feel overly confident, but it's in the competition that really matters. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think, unfortunately, that was something that I really struggled with when it came to my athletic career. I've had some success, and when I did have success, it was because my confidence aligned with my skills and I was able to execute. And of course, willpower is within it, but
Mm-hmm.
your mentality was what it needed to be in that moment. And yeah, a sport like judo is very, very brutal when it comes to your mentality, because it's not like soccer. Okay, in soccer, when somebody hits the ball into the goal, that's not the end of the game. Whereas in judo, if you're thrown within the first match, that's the
The match. Mm-hmm.
when it comes to, now you have to wait. There's a time period you have to wait to get to the next competition to essentially redeem yourself. And then there's also the finances dealing with it as well. And then, Bahamians are not easy when it comes to not winning gold. Easy boy. So
Mm-hmm.
they see gold and that's it. It's gold, or okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know?
The comment I had here was that it's in Bahamian sports we believe to pay too much attention on the physical aspects of the game and not enough on the mental and spiritual. And it's like it's only winning. It's if it's not winning, it's nothing. You go from king in the crowd or queen in the crowd to picking up the dirt off the floor kind of thing. If you're not winning.
I think people are coming, as just worldwide, are becoming a little bit more aware, because a lot of top athletes have been talking about mental health.
Right.
And, as an athlete myself, I understand and I relate to the aspect of, okay, you are there to cheer on a winner. I get that. And of course, the athlete themselves wants to win. That's why they're competing. But we definitely need to do a better job of the in-between times, because it is rare to have a consistent winner in most sports. It's very rare to, every time you step up to compete, you win. And although the support is there, I think the communication to show the appreciation could, of course, increase. So
We lost you just now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Somehow the sound went out. I don't know. Let's see. Speak again. Nope. Cool. Let's play a video and then whilst you see what's happening there. Dum, dum.
En el tatami 2, Clara Barinas de República Dominicana contra Cynthia Rahming de Bahamas.
Now that's you in blue, right?
Las Bahamas. La banana marina es uno de los proyectos. Ahora, una niña joven.
Still not hearing you?
Apenas 15 años.
Bueno, ya le marcaron el primer chido a la representante de Canadá en desventaja. En la parte superior, buscando la proyección, ¿no?
Atacan a Guasari en contra de la Dominicana.
Para Dominicana sí hay Guasari, para la
Ahí le está
representante.
haciendo una llave de articulación, le articula el brazo.
Y se acabó, y pon.
Y pon, por articulación. Cansé su base.
Bueno, dependiendo de la llave que le hagan aquí, también puede haber dislocación de hombro, ¿no?
Del codo, de la muñeca, dependiendo.
Otro hipón acá.
Santo Domingo.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Yeah, that gives me some memories, boy. That's actually where I won my bronze medal for
Oh,
the first bronze medal I actually won for the Bahamas at a International Judo Federation competition and Olympic qualifier. So
cool.
achievement. It was a long road to that. Like I said, well, like I was trying to say earlier, the mental health battle was very up and down for me. And when I won that, it was, of course, a freeing feeling. I feel like, okay, got him. So,
Cool. Yes, those whenever you get the triumph of it's better the feeling than the agony of defeat. I don't know if you ever did that ever played a TV show one time ago where you say the agony the thrill of triumph I forget how it goes now. But anyway, it was a sports show that showed all of the great moments of success and agony when people are defeated kind of thing and despair. So we already talked about you being born into this extreme pedigree, and part of that pedigree was in terms of the strength spiritually and also obviously mentally. You've shown along your journey that was not a challenge, right? And so, as Zig Ziglar talks about, he says success happens when preparation meets opportunity. Then how important is mental preparation for successes?
well, for anything, like, you have to be prepared. I have seen with my own eyes the opposite as well, to be honest. I used to have a teammate who was a winner. She was a winner. Literally would not show up to practice, be on her own mental scope, but when she competed, she won. And so that was very different than my own journey. I always had to prepare every practice I would go to, whether I was injured or not, even if it was to sit on the side and watch. And so I think for the most part, it is true you do need to be mentally prepared, but then there's also a little bit of God's grace, or God's blessing at the end of it. For the mental preparedness, for sure, it's important. At the end of the day, I am competing against another human who has their own brain, who's thinking, and who watched my film many times. Their coach analyzed me. My coach is analyzing them. So there is a battle between, like, okay, have I prepared enough? But at the end of the day, you have to rely on your skills and you have to rely on your ability. And that, I think, is where the mental preparedness should be concentrated on, especially in a sport like judo. Because, yeah, I could see somebody doing a throw, let's say throw A. I could see them do that 30 times, but then when they fight me, they do throw B. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. So I am just, it's one of those things where at the same time, like, as much of
Oh, boy, you're gone again. Say something. Let's see something. Yeah, you're gone again. Let me see. Let me play another video. That'll work.
No! Back! Careful. Cynthia! 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 Yes! Oh! Good!
And you look that girl down just now.
yeah, okay. That was in Scotland actually, and it was in my mind at the time. It was a side quest, and definitely some piece of advice for athletes who are going now. Just continue to give it your all, no matter the competition, obviously, but smaller competitions also matter. You know, like for me, because it was not an Olympic qualifying competition. I was like, I don't need to be here. Journey, yada yada yada. That's kind of how I felt at the time. Just to be very real, you know. And now I look back on that and I see how important it was to do that competition, because along with that, I was able to get more funding, of course, more exposure. And then it was strange because for me, like, a lot of my journey was filled with like self-negative talk. That competition, the girls who I competed against were extremely nice and friendly towards me. And even if I beat them or if they beat me, because I ended up getting bronze or fifth place, I think, at there, they were still like human at the end of the day. But I had gotten to such a mental place where I felt that these people were just kind of like statistics, you know, within my of my career. Honestly, it was that bad, and it brought me back to kind of reality that, you know, it's just a sport. Yes, it comes with a lot of positives, a lot of or that opportunity to compete. This photos at the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah. So this one, as you said, the Commonwealth game.
This was the youth games that was held here.
Okay.
My left, so viewing it all right, was Karha, and on my right, what we're viewing is our left, is my Benabi. And these two girls were really exceptional, sweet, sweet girls who were part of a program that we did in 2016. And we basically taught up to like 80 high schoolers. And of course, the national team was still training at the time. And we were putting our focus on this high school group where we would train them for quite like a what's it called? almost like a part-time job. That's how many
Okay.
work, and they would come their afternoons, and then later on, closer to this competition, their morning, where we would train, do physical strengthening exercises along with the judo techniques, and then travel with them as well and compete in the States. I think we competed in Barbados, and then at the end of the day, out of the team of 14 people, that's 14 athletes, these two girls were able to secure bronze each. And it was a wonderful experience to work with the young people, although, oh boy, they know how to give you a headache sometimes. I'm not but looking back, everything is roses, right? So
Yeah.
it was
Normally after the fact.
right. But they were exceptional athletes. I think our challenge in this country is being able to continue to support talent. Unfortunately, judo isn't like tennis where endorsements come and you can be a semi-pro but still feed yourself. So these two athletes who would have been on the trek, certainly to the Olympics, do not. I don't think they come
Yeah,
out.
got the support. Yeah. But that's strange is because most sports, most different disciplines say that, and it really is across the board that happens. Maybe it's at a different level that some might be more so than others, but my experience is having been involved in swimming and baseball and a couple of other sports non-formally, it's across the board that we don't support anybody other than the people who are hopefully will be on the medal stand or winning title and so forth. And it's even at the highly professional game level, say of NBA basketball or baseball, Major League Baseball, it still doesn't happen. So I don't know if that's a cultural thing that we have to change, but somewhere down the line we need to figure that out.
Well, I think we'll just have to remember it starts with you. I'm not saying give away all your money, but what
Yeah.
I'm that providing opportunity. You don't even have to give money sometimes. Introducing people to persons or companies that have the opportunity to sponsor, that's a big help too. And always remembering that it starts with you. So yeah, maybe you can fund everybody on a water polo team, but you see one person who is passionate about the sport, and because that's really is what will take that athlete to the next level, is their perfect drive of how bad they want to continue the sport, not the medals, but the personal drive. Because of course, if both come together, you got to start. But if you have somebody with a personal drive, that's who's the person who's going to wake up and do the hard work. And whether they win or not, whether they are able to do all the competitions or none, they're going to continue. And so that's the person I would and have sponsored. And I think finding that person who you have an interest in is who you should give to personally.
Cool. Yeah. Well, what we do know is it's a work in progress. We 50 years, so but we still got a ways to go. But we could be much better than we are in our support, etc. So this picture here looks like you're lifting weights. Right?
Yeah, it was pretty strong then. My deadlift, my bench press at one point, I had the muscle, you see. At one point, I could bench a plate on each side. my deadlift, I think, got up to like 230, and so did squats. So, like how I was saying earlier, my baseline was on par with a lot of athletes. So basically, for judo, you need to bench 1.5 of your body weight, and
Okay.
these are like the ideal kind of range that you want to be in. You can squat about 2 times, deadlift about 2 times. So we compete in weight class. So this girl was weight wise something I could easily move. Apply the body dynamics and the technique, it makes it even easier. So this is in Austria. I'm not gonna lie, this fight was difficult because I don't think people take this into consideration, but to like give you an athlete's perspective, Nassau is hot. In February is freezing, literally ice. We tried to cross ice to get to the training center. When they take you on the bus and they take you to these stadiums, most of the places aren't heated. So like my toes are blue and purple, and I'm trying to compete against somebody who's obviously used to cold. Yeah, that's really what I remember this competition, and that her grip strength was really strong. So we really had to tussle it out. Felt like I was versus doing judo. She was giving me some punches, returning them back. So yeah, this is a good competition though.
Yeah. So you've been to the Youth Olympic Games, the Pan Am Open, multiple World Championships, and you mentioned the different dynamics in climate. I guess food kicks in that too, and all those things. So these are all obstacles that we don't, as fans or fanatics, as we call ourselves, who watch you all perform, don't take into consideration, right?
No.
So how do you prepare to overcome those things? Because life is going to throw things at us that we can't control, and so we need to be able to overcome them also. So when you preparing for your competition, what is your process like?
Well, that's where the adaptability comes in, right? Of course, before the competition, you have warm-ups. So if you're cold, warm up longer. If you're hot, warm up less. But there's only so much that you can do with the body when it comes to physically adapting to the scenarios that come to you. At the end of the day, it's a mindset. And I had won the bronze in the Dominican Republic. It was swelteringly hot. I think I did like a 2-minute warm up, right? Yeah, there you go. And it was so hot, people was peeling themselves off the floor, and everything was kind of going wrong in that competition. Like my coach, she had forgotten her suit because you have to wear formal for the finals. I think like they do like uniform checks before you go onto the floor, but it's like right before. And basically, if your uniform is wrong, it causes a lot of anxiety. If your uniform is wrong, you have to change it. So you have to go to the official rack if they have it, which they did in this competition. And you have to put on something that isn't yours. So it could be so long or so short, or then you have to go through the process to do it again. And you better make sure that you do all of this before your match, because if they call your name and you're not ready, I think you have, I don't know, like when I was competing, you had like a 4-minute window, which wasn't much time, from the training room to the mat. Be mentally prepared again, because then you have to go through the checks all over again. So a lot of that was happening at this competition here, where my uniform was off. The coach forgot her stuff, so she couldn't even be with me when I competed for the last time on the mat for the bronze. And then, I'm fighting against the home country, so there's all of that going on with it. There's the dynamics between like, oh, what is the referee? Because of course people have biases. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of things, right? So how do you prepare for that? The answer is you don't. You trust in God. So basically, all you gotta do, trust in your ability and trust in God, and hopefully you can step on the mat and compete. And when you do, you just do what you can do, and the result will
Yeah.
be
Cool.
yeah.
All right. So when we look at that then, and we talk about the concepts of turning passion into achievement in the central part of the story that we focused on in our intro, what key moments or decisions in your career do you feel best demonstrates this transformation for you as a person, as a competition, as an athlete competing, as somebody who's becoming matured, for lack of a better term?
So changing your passion to achievements. I think when it comes to achieving things, you are just blessed with getting the achievement. That's my experience.
Okay.
And some people do the work and they never achieve. That is the reality. And many people are like that because at the end of the day, out of all those competitions that I've been to, which have been very many, 3-4 people stand on the podium at each competition. And so you have to look at achievements in a different way than just medals as an athlete, because you are achieving and overcoming things along the way to the medals. So
Right.
for me, when I was younger, one of the things that I had to achieve was looking back, was being able to choose and decipher my path. So as an athlete, with my dad and later on my brother being involved in my career, they were the ones who initially chose where I were to compete, where I were to train, where this, where that. And although they had the best interest, towards the end of my career, I had more knowledge and experience than they did. And so I had to then tell them, okay, give me the reins. I know better. And so one of my achievements I feel within my career was learning when to learn decipherment, learning which competitions I needed to go to. And of course, being able to communicate that as effectively as I could at the time. So I think that's one of my achievements within the scope of my career. Another one is, along with competing, still taking the aspect that it's just a game and keeping the humanity aspect in. I think how, with the coaching staff that I had and the slightly toxic mentalities that came along with it, I dehumanized a lot of what was happening. And this is just my experience. Of course, people have different experiences. My judo career was very heavily intertwined with my life outside of judo. And so it consumed me for a long time, and I had to overcome the aspect of this is life. everybody, I would literally go to the airport for a competition, and I would like size up the flight attendant, because in my mentality everybody could have been a competitor, and
Right.
so I had to overcome that and bring it back down to earth a little bit, to be like, okay, not everything is me against you. And that was something that I had to overcome. So I didn't want to bring that and carry that along with me. And I think that's an achievement in itself,
Yeah.
still being aware that, there's more to life than competing and winning.
Yeah.
So there's this I would call them soft achievements that I had carried out with me and accomplished along the way. And
Right.
hopefully, I do hope that I was able to share some of that, especially when I was working with the younger set, or just people in general, who come with me, who wanted to compete and who were competing, to still bring it back down to life. One thing I would like to talk about is, as an athlete, a female athlete, it is a different layer of requirements that come with that. So in judo, it's weight category. I had started competing professionally before when I was prepubescent, which meant that even now I still have a lot of health issues because of the way I was handled as an athlete. And so when it came time to, and I'm talking specifically about like my dietary,
Right.
um, and so when I was coaching other young female athletes, and I saw that toxic, you shouldn't eat before a competition just to make weight. You need to go on this extreme diet to make weight for your competition. Oh, you need to go in the lower division because then that will give you of an edge. I tried to steer them away, whether I was successful or not. But I would try to pass on the information that, hey, this is a temporary, like a finite time that you'll be an athlete. Make sure that finite time doesn't screw up the rest of your life, Because those things, especially during when you catch an athlete during their pubescent time, you gotta be very sensitive and aware of that, which I don't think every coach is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I've gone. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Just,
Yeah. All right. So my video went out for some reason. I don't know.
oh,
Oh, I'm back. Yeah. Cool. Well, I mean, that's some great insights that you put on the table there, because I don't think a lot of people really understand what goes on in the background for what I call elite athletes in particular, or those who compete at significantly high level scenarios, operations. And so let's play another video. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's play this one. Where's this? Oh no.
yeah. That's
So in the competitions, y'all competed against the males also, or that was just for practice? You would do that.
that is a female. She is.
Oh, sorry, my mistake.
They cut their hair very short, just because, as I've done it as well, it's with the judo uniform. It rubs against your hair, And honestly, when you're competing and you're living out of a suitcase and you ain't got the hair product, cut that right off. You worry about other things. So I vibes with that. And yeah, she was a very strong Chinese athlete. They were preparing for, like I was, for the, I think it was the Osaka Grand Slam that year, held in Japan. And that actually happens within the Olympic circuit. You oftentimes go to a place to, do your little secret training, and then you get swamped with a whole team of other athletes. So that's kind of what happened there.
Okay, so switching those direction a little bit. You have been on the global exposure, and you have also been involved in seminars that promote self-defense and importance of self-control, particularly for women. How has your experience in judo helped you advocate for these values, and what messages would you like to share?
Well, I think all women and all people should do martial arts. Specifically for women, it's very empowering to know that you're able to defend yourself even to the littlest degree. Judo is something where you use your opponent's attack against, especially those who don't know. So if your attacker is somebody who's never done martial arts, which most people haven't, or isn't expecting you to be able to defend yourself, using judo techniques is very useful. But along with that, it comes with the mentality that, hey, I'm not gonna, walk in the middle of the night with headphones in my ears and feel everything good. Or while I'm at a party, I'm not gonna put myself in a position where I'm gonna have to defend myself, because the mentality is there, which is really important to have, especially as, I'm not the biggest woman, the smallest woman, nor the biggest woman, but I still need to know how to defend myself. And having that allows me to kind of just feel more comfortable moving about. I travel quite a bit, and the country is safe. So you just have to have your wits about you, but having the skills as well adds that extra level of comfort, especially as a woman.
Cool. And so then I'm being a part of a coaching staff, because you mentioned, I think you mentioned that earlier, and that and running one of the largest judo clubs in the Bahamas. What's the name of that club, by the way?
It's All Star, but I'm not sure operating anymore.
Oh, okay, no problem. But somebody would have had a part of that. What lessons from your journey have you been most impactful in shaping the next generation of Bahamian judos?
I think one of the lessons is that just knowing that, especially in this country, your journey is in your hands. You have to be very diverse in your skill set. You cannot just be an athlete, unfortunately, and take comfort in knowing that most athletes are not just athletes. Yeah, you have countries where, they have a whole team. You walking in carrying your bags, and your competitor have 4 people carrying bags and wiping their shoe. But at the end of the day, again, trust in your training and do what you can do. So you have to be diverse as an athlete here. You have to know and be on top of the administrative aspect of it. And I guess that's how it is right now. So accept it, do the best you could do.
Cool. So you've transitioned from competitive amateur athletics into professional, and now you're retired.
Yes.
Right? And you haven't even hit 20 yet, right? But so no, but yeah, I know. But so the next chapter in your life is, I think you said, art, and my son is an artist. So tell me, or tell us how are you going to use what you've learned in your journey with judo to prepare yourself to be successful in art? Is it still art?
Yes. So
Okay.
they're a sculptor. Actually, during my martial arts career in judo, I also did art. So it wasn't separate, as in
Okay.
one. It was within the scope of it. Thankfully, I was able to get into the National Art Gallery show in 2016. I was able to get into the Central Bank show as well. So I was able to get into different places and showcase my artwork alongside of my career. And it was definitely an outlet that I had, but I didn't know how yet to do it with duality, because being a professional athlete, that's more than 40 hours a week that you could do it. And being a professional artist, obviously you have to commit quite a bit of time as well. One that translates from one to the next is obviously discipline in hours, discipline in execution. If you do anything to a professional level, there has to be creativity. And for me, a lot of my art pieces now deal with movement, they deal with culture, and they deal with the dynamics of how those two things affect the audience. And that's what judo is. It deals with movement. It deals with the dynamics and the culture of judo, because you're dealing with somebody's mind as you compete against them. And I think a lot of my art right now has been centered around those things. And so a lot of it is just discipline at the end of the day. If you don't create something, nobody can see anything, you know? So you gotta put pen to paper, paintbrush to paper.
Yeah. And tell me, do you have to be this supernatural athlete to be able to benefit from these principles that you espouse in here? Or can it just be the average person, like, I wouldn't say me average, but persons who don't have special elite talents in sports, right?
Well, I think when it comes to achieving anything, it goes past talent. It goes to so the work ethic. Talent is more so like, oh, you have little experience but high quality, whereas professional, you have a lot of experience and high quality. And so it's more about consistency at that level. I know with judo in particular, I've trained with people who do judo for life. So literally one of my senseis, who is in California, who recently passed away, he did judo until he was 96. And I'm not talking, just watching, knowing about it. No, he physically was on the mat doing up until that age. And we recently became friends with somebody who's from the Special Olympics, who basically is blind. Like, no matter how your physical ability is, of course you have limitations, but you can do something if you put your mind to it at the end of the day.
Right, achieve, yeah.
But, and similarly, like with painting and sculpting, it's something where you just have to find your way to do it. And one of the biggest things is just about discipline. Hey, you might be tired, do it anyways. Like, it's about, I think that's something that we lack in this country, which is discipline when it comes to following through on a goal. If your goal is big, there will be many steps to get there. So you have to take each step at a time,
Yeah. So my son Dominic had to find that out also, because he is nocturnal. He works in the night. I don't know if he knows what daylight look like the weight. Well, and I guess now with his volume increased as much as it's increased, and producing art, he probably has to do a lot in a day or different things in a day. But originally, when he found that was when he worked best, in the middle of the night, right? And so everybody be fussing him, oh, you got to go to school, next thing you go to sleep, blah, blah, blah. But he's out there tinkering with what he wants to tinker with when he was starting out. And now he's finding himself a little niche as to what works for him. And I think that's important what you just said, that you have to find you and find out what works for you. And you're going to have family, friends, and people who can tell you what you have to do. But I would encourage people just learn the principles and then find you. And you will find a way to be successful.
Right. A lot of people, as well, I don't know how good this mentality is, but one mentality I adopted as an athlete was that people who were talking to me, involved in my career, were all advisors. Because when I step on the mat, they're not on the mat next to me. I'm there.
Through down. Mm-hmm.
So everybody is an advisor. Yes, some advice is not all good advice, but everybody is an advisor, and some advice is gold. So you have to use your discernment as to what you need to do, because I truly believe that once you at least take a step forward, you can know where you need to adjust. You know, you gotta.
Yeah. Okay, so you spoke about the importance of courage, respect, modesty, and the other judo values. How does these principles, you as an athlete and as a person striving to reach your full potential, how do these principles guide you to help people fulfill their potential?
Well, along with these principles, I'm a Christian, so I make sure that it coincides with my religious belief of Christianity, and which they do. And so it's about action, and a lot of it deals with how you interact with people. I forgot the question that was asked.
Yeah, and we were saying, how does these principles help you as an athlete in striving to fulfill your potential
Okay,
in whatever it is you do? Yeah.
I do think that everything kind of has, like I was saying earlier, a baseline. How you treat your training partners really will affect how they train with you, and how, you know, at the end of the day, each training matters. And so it's small things like that are applied across the board. How you treat somebody who's part of the administrative staff when you get to the competition, that same person you might meet later down the road at competition, or even at that exact same competition, which would mean, you know, them saying, oh, your uniform is off this much, to, oh, it's passable. So it's like, you have to know that things are connected. Just don't be like everything is connected. And I think principles deals with how you treat others and how you treat yourself. And so along with giving people grace, you need to give yourself grace. And that will, with sticking with your goal and reminding yourself that, you know, there's grace within it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, that's another part of the intangibles, the emotional intelligence, to know how to work with people and build friends, so that when times come, that they'll look favorably on you, you know, kind of thing. Awesome. So I got one more question for you, which is, what advice would you give to viewers who are just starting in their journey to fulfill their dreams and goals? and their passion to overcome the obstacles that they have, whether it's body, mind, and soul, so that they become a success. What advice would you give them?
Well, it deals with building your house on sand or building it on rock. You have to do the research. There's only so much research you can do, of course, before you need to move, like, and put things into action. But if you have a very big goal, like how my goal was to go to the Olympics, it's not just, oh, I train, oh, I compete, okay, let's go. You know, there's resources that you have, which you might not be aware of. So first, you need to expand your knowledge in what is a track that somebody before you has done. If nobody has done your track, which is probably very rare, you have to figure out, okay, what is best for me. So my judo career was very much like walking without sight. There was no other professional athletes before me in this form of judo to get to the Olympics. So if I step on a landmine, I just didn't know better at the end of the day, you know? But once you do, you gotta learn, okay, maybe I should contact somebody, make friends with somebody who has done it for their own country. And that's kind of for people who are interested in achieving something huge. Look at people who've done it before, see if that's the journey you want to get on, or if it's possible to do it. And then, you know, want
I lost you now. You're going good, now all of a sudden we lost you. Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Great.
Oops, wrong one. Trying to get it. Okay, get off the screen. Well, go ahead.
Yeah. So I was just saying, like, if you want to achieve something, look for somebody who can who has done it before. It'll make the path easier for you, because at least you can say yay or nay to their actions. You
Right.
say, yeah, let me do that. No, I don't think that'll work for me. Or, yeah, let me do that. Okay, it did work for me. Let me do more. Let me scale it back, you know? And then as you step forward, you'll see more options, and keep your mind open.
Yeah, you know, and I learned this thing a long time ago that there's 4 fundamental steps for success, and first one is to set your goals. The second one is to determine what you're willing to sacrifice to get your goals. Third step is to find a mentor who can willing and able to help you, and the fourth step is to build a plan to help you achieve that will guide you straight to achieving those goals. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, you got some fans out there who is dropping some little links up there, which is good. But tell us now, I asked you a number of questions, maybe too many questions, but what didn't we cover which you would like to say to the audience out there?
I guess one of the things that people don't talk about enough in this country is that, but people feel, as an example, is that we just need to stop the black crab syndrome. And, you know, there's many pieces to a pie type of aspect. Right now in judo, there are disputes between athletes and administration, athletes and athletes. And it is sad to see, just because at the end of the day, you know, multiple people can go to the Olympics, and you cannot do anything at a high level alone. And to rely on somebody who's not even your countryman is not the smartest thing to do. I've been on the training mat where it's just been me, and I've had to make friends to get on the training mat and train, because everybody else had their own partners. But when you are able to go to a training session and your teammate is there because you support each other, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't do that. So one of the things I'd like to talk about is basically we need to, instead of try to do everything our way or just one way for one person, we need to start doing it for multiple people, because multiple people can succeed. The reason why when I feel I really started to excel was because I had a team around me. It wasn't just me one or me three, you know, like just me, my brother, and my dad. I literally had those same girls, Cara and Maya, were training with me. And when I would go to competitions, some of them would come with me and help me out. And as I succeeded, I wanted to see them succeed. And so we need to adopt that mentality a bit more, and the action of doing that a bit more. The resources, although they may be limited, it's almost like tithing, you know? If you keep 100% and you still can't pay the bills, what's the point? That's how I feel. And yeah, that's my little sip of the day, because I don't think it's talked about enough or addressed directly. And it needs to be addressed directly.
Awesome. Well, we know that you will continue to be that rainmaker in whatever endeavors you go. Art is obviously there's another passion of yours, and who knows what other passions that the good Lord bring to the surface to drive you in a direction. But
I
we
do
know
have,
that you, yeah.
sorry to interrupt you. I do
Go ahead.
have those who would like to see my art. My show is, well, not my show. The Diagular is having a show, which I am part of, on the 19th. So you're welcome to come to that, all of you who are watching. Or, yeah, you're welcome to come. Or share the word.
And that's on the road is the Diagulas is right off of, that's what, Marlboro.
That back road.
That's the back road, Virginia Street, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, Virginia Street, where St. Mary's Church is. When you come from Dunkin' Donuts, and then you make that funny left right on the curve there, and go through that back road.
Right.
The Diagulas Art Gallery is on that road.
Right.
So what time is that show on the 19th?
That is starting at 5.
5, okay. Cool.
But, you know,
And you get to meet a lot of new people.
oh yeah, that is about
To
it.
those places. I don't know why my video keep popping out recent now. Am I doing something? I don't know. Something's going on. Yes. Well, it's been awesome. Yeah. I'm sitting on something. I'm got to be doing something.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show. Happy.
You're
Although I
quite welcome.
go out my way to be public, I do appreciate every once in a while being public.
Oh, that's great. I'm feeling special then that I am one that you were public with. So that's awesome. But I think you dropped a lot of nuggets on the table for a lot of people to think about. And we know that all they have to do is to pause, and then they can find a way to add this information to take them from here to where they want to go. And we applaud you for all of your accomplishments, and those are still to come. And we look forward to hearing great things from you. And I hear you saying that you don't be public too much, but I know your dad, so I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah. Many conversations. Don't post this. Don't post it. But it's okay.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. But thank you again. I'll hit you up shortly and so forth. And be safe. Go forward. Champion that art. I look forward to seeing you on the 19th. 19th, that's a Thursday. Right. I think it's a Thursday.
No idea. Just
a day. Just another day. Cool. Yeah. All right. Thanks again.
All right.
Okay, good. So, folks, you've been watching Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles, and this evening we've had the most comfortable and energetic, and we see her manhandle some people on the screen, but with finesse and all those great attributes that she talked about. You have no challenge but to adopt those, and you will become successful just like her in whatever field it is that you are in. And so we look forward to hearing from you. Shoot us a note, post on Facebook or post on YouTube, and let us know how you use this show to help yourself advance in whatever endeavors that you have. Till next time, next week, same time, 6:30 on a Tuesday, we're going to be right here waiting to hear from you and all your messages. Thank you and good evening.
Enjoyed the show? Then subscribe to us for more educational and inspirational content. Ring the bell so you never miss a show. Let's change the narrative 242